Housing to crash by 20%. Let's have a look. Evening everyone, Florian.heise here and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your cup of coffee or your stein of coffee, and I have a confession to make. My stein is broken at the moment, so I'm running out. I need to order another one in. Let's have a look at this article warning about a huge house price crash or correction. A 20% fall. The banks are warning us. Okay, well, let's start by just bringing up a chart here. Okay, here, this is the Sydney asking prices for property, everyone. And let me just press reload. Now, we have a look here. 3-bedroom is at 1.5 million. So we're talking about, well, 300 grand drop. So we have to go back in time to 1.2 million. So we're talking, what, a 2-year fall in house prices, everyone? We're going back in time to September 2020. I remember we were doing videos about how affordable housing was in September 2020. Yeah, no, we won't. So, okay, we may lose a couple of years. Maybe some of the insane growth in property that's happened is going to cool off. Same thing with the stock market. Sure, it's falling. You may have lost some capital value in your shares or your investments. Look at it over time. How much time have you lost? I think I'm back to last year, 6 months. Yeah, but I invest in quite boring things. So let's have a look at this. House prices could drop by 20% across Australia, the bank warns. More chilling warnings about the impact of supersized rate rises on house prices could leave homeowners facing a 40% increase in repayments. And, well, we've discussed that several times on the channel here. None of us trusted Philip Lowe, so we all locked in our mortgages, and we're going to be hit with a decent increase once that honeymoon period of locking in rates disappears. House prices could fall a whopping 20% across Australia in the next 18 months, experts have warned. So it's slower than the increase. Sydney and Melbourne are expected to be harder hit, with a steeper fall in property prices as home buyers' borrowing power drops due to supersized rate hikes, according to major investment bank Jarden. Okay, well, Sydney and Melbourne usually are the first to fall. And then, well, what happens? People move to other states. The forecast for house prices will fall by 5% this year and a further 10 to 15% over 2023. So we'll have a recession next year. It has to be. So it would be the biggest plunge in housing values in 40 years. So in the 80s. 40 years. When you think 40 years, do you think 1980 or do you think the 60s? Okay, so just think about that. That means the biggest plunge since the 80s. Falls in Sydney and Melbourne are likely to be larger and faster, Jarden chief economist Carlos Shanko said. This would be the largest house price correction since at least 1980. Interest rates will also skyrocket to 2.5% by the end of the year, the bank warned. The rate hikes would mean a 25% fall in borrowing capacity for home buyers by the end of the year, the analyst said, although the softer housing outlook would be dragging on the economic activity through 2023 and see rate rises cut from the second half of next year, its analysis said. Separately, higher energy prices and continued inflationary pressures see us upgrade our peak inflation forecast to 6.7% year-on-year by September 2022. It was 6%, he said. There you go, everyone. All this is likely to see a softening of consumption into 2023, particularly for discretionary spending categories such as household goods. Well, yeah, that's where we're going to see the beginning of these rate rises. People are going to stop spending money on the crap they don't need. And you've seen Afterpay and Buy Now, Pay Later companies, they've all tanked. They have all tanked, like insane amounts. Reserve Bank Governor Philip Lowe had more dire predictions for inflation, forecasting it will hit 7% by the end of the year, with his comments prompting experts to warn that a rate rise of 0.5% will hit in July. It comes as interest rates have risen from a record low of 0.1% to 0.85% in just 2 months. Mr. Chayko said the impact of rising interest rates on homeowners will be most intense throughout 2023, as 265 to 365 billion worth of fixed-rate loans expire. That's right. When does your fixed-rate loan expire, guys? I've got it till 2024. I managed to lock in for 4 years. In our view, this surge in fixed-rate expiries is likely to see many borrowers face a 40% increase in repayments and drive a significant increase in refinancing activity. Now, the problem is if you try to refinance. Okay, so say I tried to refinance and my property had fallen in 20% value. I should still be fine. You know, the big challenge for me for refinancing is having 6 kids. But if you've got a property where you've borrowed just recently and you're just at the edge and you get a 20% fall and you're in negative equity, what do you think will happen then? You'll either be asked to tip some more in the kitty to keep the bank happy, or you'll be stuck with the same bank, which I think is more likely. You'll just be stuck with them. The downturn will also spill over into the building of new homes, which will drop to 130,000 this year, the lowest since 2012, Jarden found, but will rebound next year back up to 180,000. However, we believe completions activity will not fall materially until mid-2023, given significant construction delays and the record pipeline of work yet to be done. Jarden's analysis flagged that house prices could experience a modest recovery at the end of 2023, with predictions the banking regulator will reduce the serviceability buffer that banks apply for mortgage approvals down from 3% to as low as 2%. So they'll work the system, guys. Consensus is gaining that property prices will experience dramatic drops in the coming months and years. Last week, another major bank, Commonwealth Bank, also predicted that house prices are set to plunge by 18% in the next 2 years in Sydney and Melbourne. Now remember, we've heard these stories before. We've heard stories of property crashing up to 40% with RBA modelling. Now the media will focus on these because it gets attention, it gets the views, and there's a lot of people concerned. You're either concerned because you've got a lot of investment properties or your house is your biggest retirement asset, or you're hoping to get into property, so you want a correction. But we saw 20%. What? It's 2 years of growth. You tell me if you're worried. And across Australia, its economists also predict house prices will drop by 15% over the next 18 months. So, Adelaide and Brisbane will buck the trend of falling house prices this year. Okay, so, Adelaide and Brisbane are still we're more affordable compared to Sydney and Melbourne. Like Sydney and Melbourne, it's nuts. Brisbane, you can still get a house for hundreds of thousands under $1 million. They've cautioned that June's supersized rate hike of 0.5%, the biggest in 22 years, will have a chilling impact on Australians' property prices, alongside expectations of a more aggressive cycle of rate rises in coming months. As well as predicting the price plunges for Sydney and Melbourne, the CommBank economists saw Hobart's property market taking a hit with a drop of 4% in house prices expected this year, and 9% with Canberra also expected to be impacted by the same declines. Well, Hobart's just insane. All of Tasmania's property is just going insane. It's just ludicrous. It's all the interstate people coming over and driving up your prices. In Darwin, house prices were expected to drop 1% this year, followed by 9% next year. Brisbane, Adelaide and Perth will likely buck the national trend, and we'll see house prices increase before dropping by between 8 and 11% in 2023. So, let's have a talk about this one. We have to remember, everyone, this is not an exact science. And what's going to happen next year? This doesn't look like, it doesn't look like it is at all a significant, huge crash that's going to, punish all those greedy investors and allow people to jump in the market with their savings they've got stashed away. I don't think it'll be that. I think there are going to be some people that are going to be hit really hard with these rate increases who I assumed everyone would be prepared. I'm probably being naive there. Some people probably believed Philip Lowe. They're going to be hit. We'll see it in discretionary spending. That's where it's going to manifest. And, well, we all know what's coming. Prepare for it. Thanks for watching, guys. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and want to support us, there are a few ways you can. You can financially support us via joining us on YouTube or Patreon, using any of our referral links you'll find down below, or buying our merch. We have pocket squares for sale. We still have a few left. Or you can contact us if you need any architectural support. Take care, guys. Have a great day. And thank you to all the patrons who help support the channel. And it's happening again. Another media cycle about property doom.